Impressions. That's a group that featured Curtis Mayfield. And this record was a #1 hit on the charts for 1 week. But it's underrated though. Look at the Impressions. They ever had their time because they make songs like Keep On Pushing, um, I'm So Proud of You, uh, Gypsy Woman, People Get Ready, and stuff like that. The Impressions were different because they were into that social commentary stuff. You know what I'm saying? They were way ahead of this time with their social commentary. You know, they made songs for the ladies and all that, but they always focused on social commentary, led by Curtis Mayfield. Um, this song was released in 1969 in May. It topped the R&B charts and the Billboard charts. Um, had that gentle, soaring falsetto harmonies with piercing, uncomfortable questions about race, internal community, trust, and human behavior. It's overlooked because instead of a loud, fist in the air protest rally cry, Curtis Mayfield uses a calm, reflective tone. Self-examination over slogans, the lyrics challenge listeners to look inward at personal prejudice and community unity rather than just external foes. Shifting focus was pop culture often favors the more explicit funk and cinematic grit of Mayfield's later 1970s solo work. Questioning like, if you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? Strip away superficial divisions. The hardest accountability, the song asks hard questions about mutual respect, education, with people refer argument over building trust. You know, obviously, outside of Mayfield, you had Sam Gooden and Fred Cash supporting Mayfield with Heavenly Floating Grace. So this is a great, great song. One of the greatest songs ever made, but it's underrated in the history of R&B to me. That's why I put it at number 37. So keep it going. It's underrated even more because it trades the standard aggressive protest style of the late 60s for a calm, introspective, sophisticated approach. Even though it's #1 in the Billboard charts, it's overshadowed by the more works that Mayfield would do with the Superfly soundtrack as a solo artist and stuff like that. You look at the lyrics, he's questioning the black community from within and humanity as a whole. If you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right? So it explicitly challenges implicit biases and calls for internal community unity, education, which respect with lines like, do you respect your brother's woman friend and share with black folks not of kin? During the highly volatile year marked by the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, most minister songs relied on heavy rhythms and gritty vocals. The Impressions subverted this by using an incredibly smooth, elegant soul arrangement. The contrast between the heavy, complex subject matter and the breezy, gorgeous falsetto harmonies made the track uniquely haunting and deeply impactful. This track featured complex musical architecture that was arranged by legends Johnny Pate and Donny Hathaway. The instrumentation relies on subtle orchestral swells, real horns, and a steady, syncopated rhythm, such that acts as a soothing backdrop to a heavy message. So this sophisticated blueprint laid down the groundwork for the socially conscious soul albums of the 1970s by artists like Marvin Gaye and Al Green. Yeah, so the Impressions were ahead of their time. They were one of the groups that really, they were into making love songs for the ladies, but they always had a message in the music. They always had, socially conscious music in the 60s, stuff like that. They always had that in their DNA. And they're very influential to make a case for Marvin Gaye to make What's Going On, I think, speaking. But I had to put that on the list, number 37. So that's it for that. I'll be back at 6:45 for the final analysis, the final live stream. Number 36 of the top 100. So let's book again. Underrated top 100 underrated R&B songs of all time. The top 100 underrated R&B songs in R&B history. Be back at 6:45 for the last live stream of the day. Until then, so see you soon.